All right, everybody. Sorry if you can't hear me. I'm trying to keep my voice low because the old woman is sleeping um floor below me on the other side, but I want my voice to carry. And so, in case you have or been living under a rock or whatever, President Trump just finished a presser with the presser regarding on autism. And in case you are not familiar with the news that came out about a week ago about um, the ingredients, they have made the I don't know which agency had indicated that the ingredients in Tylenol was a link to autism. It's not aspirin per se. It's the other. I forget the word. Um, and so it was a big show and tell today, Dog and Pony Show. You had RFK Jr. Why does my live chat keep warning me? Am I streaming or is my network a little bit wonky? Um, let's just see. It just keeps popping up. The welcome to chat. Yeah, I know. Right. Apologies if I break up. A signal breaks up, but basically, you had all the agencies. You had HHS, RK Jr. You had Dr. Oz running Medicaid, and a couple autism moms. One on one end of the spectrum, the other one on another end of the spectrum, higher functioning, low functioning, and they just basically were, to me, vulnerable narcs. If you ask me, um, um, playing the victim is what I took. Um, so the president repeated. I don't know who. I don't understand why the chat keeps alerting me. Why are you pushing me the same message? It's very distracting. Um, Let me see what other remarks I made because I posted it on social media. Um, let's see if I have it up here. Fight like hell, which I thought was so he basically the start of the presser was Trump basically announcing what they found last week about um, the ingredients in the Tylenol causing a linkage to ASD or neurodevelopmental disorders with expecting mothers. And um, so, as a result of this, this became a public service announcement for women to not take Tylenol. He ordered that multiple times, and then to instruct women to fight like hell. Um, that's I just I just want to think of last July. It was crazy that he would say this repeatedly. He also ordered women to mothers to make sure that when they get the vaccines to not take the MMR but separate them in fives or fours. He kind of was going. He wasn't on script. So why is that? Why do you keep? I'm gonna just hide the chat because I don't know why it keeps nagging at me that I don't know if my connection is working. It's really distracting on me. Um, Trump also focused on profound autism, him and RFK Jr. Um, I tuned away a little bit near the end when the press was asking questions, but RFK Jr. continues talking points about how there are no 70-year-olds. If autism is a genetic thing, then he should have seen it when his father was alive, which ironically he was the same year that closed down Willowbrook in New York City. Um, Somehow memory holds what his father did 3 years before his assassination. Um, so he had to go with that rhetoric again. Talking about the 20% of the profound autism population. Um, as if that's the other thing. And again, RFK Jr. referring to the head stemming, banging, all that good um, stereotypical ableistic messaging. I'm going to only say that once. Then you had Jay Barataria, who runs NAH, if I'm not mistaken. They're talking about taking down the silos because this has been covered up by multiple administrations. So they're trying to get to the bottom of it. They're probably going to scrape a lot of information and claim confidentiality and privacy, which I don't believe. Um, there's reason why some things are to be siloed. You don't want to put everything in one database, create a single point of failure. Just saying. But they don't care because they want to have ultimate control over us, my group. Um, I think the biggest thing was just the attack on women. I rarely use these kind of words, but pregnancy is a very complex state of being for a woman. And given an abortion is now illegal and or it's back at the states, so called, um, the, the 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 undertones that I heard from the president and his people today, referring that it was almost implying that pregnant mothers are taking um, Tyenol like it's candy, like it's like kind of like an abortion. It had the undertones that women were just liberally taking as. I mean, if you have like a fever that's over 100 to 3, 4 degrees, and it's not going down, that could also harm the baby as well. So yes, taking it in small doses or limiting your exposure to medicines in general is like common sense, but they just don't want women to be taking anything. And the way that the president had put an authoritative muscle on this and ordering women to fight like hell, I thought was very I thought you were wanting women to be feminine, kind of thing. Like you want them to be like trad wives. It kind of, having women act like masculine tendencies is kind of against um, the belief of women. I guess it's hilarious, but sad at the same time. Um, this I don't think this ran on cable news. I did check just about 20 minutes ago before I found out that RK was speaking, and boy was he um I what also got me was the things I've said before with these men mostly, except for the two moms, but these men that don't really understand autism, and they were just attacking the gender. They don't say lost little boys, but they keep underscoring that autism is more common in boys. These beautiful children are all messed up from all this stuff. Um, I wonder what the reaction will be on social media given for parents who didn't take medicine and still had an autistic child. Um, I wonder how that will be. Um, we'll see what happens. But this is, I have a lot of objections to the messaging. They think it's like political correctness or it's just uncomfortable realities, but um, it's you're dehumanizing these people. You're objectifying the most vulnerable people. That most developmental disorders are genetic in nature, and they just refuse to acknowledge that. That they think it's some man-made, you know, transmittable disease. That's the undertones. Um, uh, it's the gasoline was used by, I don't know if it was the mother or one of the men that was speaking as well, which I think it's ironic because they're projectionists. So my take on this was pretty misogynistic. It was attacking women. He was talking to women like Trump is their daddy, and I don't like that in a presidential figure. I don't like this macho do what I say attitude. It doesn't make any sense. Um, I also think there there's no discussion about how to treat people with adults on the spectrum, because again RK Jr. keeps thinking that, well, there was no autistic people when he was, a kid in the 60s, but what about the people who were born in the early 80s to early 90s? Because a lot of this focus is are people particularly born after 98, but autism was existent even before kids born after 98, and some of us are hitting midlife crisis at a stage of midlife crisis with very little to contribute because the system's ignored us in my group. Um, Here's how I'm going to wrap this up, because I'm going to be wrapping this up now. One is the federal government doesn't want us to exist. That is case number one. Point number two, New Hampshire's following that through putting disability rights for people in wheelchairs, and in order to build a ramp for the wheelchair people or physically disabled people to have rights, they're using us as planks. Lastly, this was another thing that they repeated too. They talked about the black. They dropped something about the black. A study CDC did in Fulton County, Georgia, Atlanta, with black boys being at more risk with autism, which I thought was a nice plain race card. The other thing they did today was target the Amish community. There's no autism in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. They repeated that multiple times. There was apparently someone who was Amish. It was on some, I'm assuming it was a podcast. They were talking to them, and he didn't know what ADHD or whatever. Got confused, but there's no autism. Well, if the child's got a few loose nuts, they just throw them to the hills up in Lancaster County, don't they? They're like the Asians. Well, what wild child you throw the wild with the animals? How do we know that it's not being done in the Amish community? I just, this is becoming a sick religion. Um, we'll see if the numbers go down with the government's orders. This is it was very, he was giving orders. He was giving marching orders, and um, it's disgusting. It's really disgusting. Um, just an FYI, I did indicate that I was going to bring back the website part with all my written stuff. Well, given the ongoing assault, political assault to my group, I am not going to bring it back up. I'll archive the content, then take the site down, and unfortunately, I mean, it's on the Internet Archive, unfortunately, the Wayback Machine. But I don't care at this point. They want me dead anyways. Um, I'm really disgusted. I am so fucking disgusted by um, what this administration wanted to do. I knew that it was going to happen. I didn't know to the extent, because um, I can't control who votes for other people. We didn't have much of a choice, and the left hasn't done anything for my group either. And the leftists in New Hampshire want me to be, again, a wooden plank for a ramp for someone with a wheelchair, because that's what they want. Disabilities, they want to sympathize on the worst, but if you have an invisible disability, you don't matter, and it's getting worse in the state. um so you're dealing with the dual whammy situation. um it's really disgusting, to say the least. I'm disappointed at how our country does not care about my group of people. They want me dead, basically. And that's all I have to say. It won't be too long. But again, I'm just going on what I just looked at, watched in real time. It was delayed 40 minutes. But it's if we did this with any other group of people, this wouldn't be okay, but it's okay to do it because we can't fight back ourselves. I don't have a kahuna to kick the system in the balls. I mean, seriously, it's we're in crazy times. All right, thank you for watching.